right. We're streaming on YouTube. Woo! This is just a simple stand-up. It's as long or as short as things go. First, I guess, well, this is sort of weird. Like you both met Sam on Monday when he started at the lab, working as, I guess, effectively the community liaison for the assembly line project. Um, we probably got to work on our pitch and figure out exactly how to properly introduce you and what does he do. But Michelle and Caroline already know you, so I guess we'll hear how your
Hmm.
week went as as part of that. And I just go around. Whoever was first is the first one. So Sam, what you got going on? Any blockers?
I have spent the week getting my head around the assembly line and related things and my roles here, obviously. Trying to understand what, you know, and who's working with the assembly line, who's in the community, who are the partners, what are courts interested in getting from it, and how do I talk about the various aspects of it. And I've made a lot of progress. I don't think I have anything special to share about that yet, but that's the main thing. I don't think I have any blockers. Some general information questions that are probably for another time or place. But yeah, no, I it's been an exciting and full week of reading and researching and asking questions and trying dipping my toes in things. And but I feel like, you know, give me by the end of next week, I should have more to report and maybe I'll have produced more. So
We keep adding you to meetings. Like, oh, got a meeting coming up. Why don't you sit on that? Got a meeting coming up. Oh, why don't you sit
it
on that?
helps.
So yeah, fun times. All right, Michelle.
I have been, I've done some stuff. Um, Very excitingly, Quentin is going to be seeing if some of his students can write some basic tests for the interviews with Ale Kiln. So that should be interesting. I have spruced up the Ale story generator a bit. I'd love some feedback on that sometime. Because I think it's a bit complex to understand, and I'd love to make it more clear. I've also been working on the 2-column version of the story table, which should simplify things for a lot of people a lot more.
Oh, so the trigger, so that means you don't need the trigger.
Yeah. Oh, you muted.
You just muted. Yeah.
Don't need the trigger, but you can't use I or X. You have to put the actual variable names there.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know which is better, but it might be.
Do you mean you
to
can't use I or X in the interview or in the test?
No, in the test.
Oh, well, you
just in the test.
Would you?
I don't know. I don't know what users do. That has to be discovered. But I'm hoping that it is a more intuitive way to do it. And certainly it is, there are parts of automation that work better with that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it is easier to understand, but we'll see. Michael Koch talked to me about trying to start using Ale Kiln, and his like just a bunch of things about his situation make it really complicated to do implement Ale Kiln. Like he's doing all the hardest stuff, like his server is on an old version of Node, and so he can't do the in the playground stuff. We tried that for like 45 minutes. It was very painful. His interviews are using I and X all over the place. So he not only has to write a test, but he has to work with, which is part of the motivation for switching, to a 2-column thing. Like it is a conglomeration of complexities. So that was a little frustrating.
What's he, where is he, what's he doing?
Michael Koch. He is the main part of the main crux of his tests right now is that he has a ton of different templates, and depending on the situation, he mixes and matches them. And it leads to a lot of complexity. No, not
docx and PDF.
PDF and docx templates. So that's kind of, I don't do a good job paying attention to other things, so I don't really know
Yeah,
like
yeah.
what part of law he's in. But the 2-column table, I never liked my sentence for the story table that says I get to the question blah with this data. And if people have an idea for a better sentence that would express, you know, I am filling in these fields, or I'm setting these variables with these values, or something, I would love a more comfortable sentence. So I'd love input on that. And I don't remember what else. So that's that. That's me, I think, right now.
Cool. Caroline,
I crashed my development server this week.
better than
Couldn't
production.
restart it because I can't get onto Amazon, which is really frustrating. But fortunately, I set up my own personal server a year ago because of these problems, and tried to crash it, you know, so that I understood why, and it didn't crash. But it does take a really long time to run the tests, and that so when I was running tests, sometimes the results were that it, not that it failed, but it just, so you got, it didn't, some of the tests didn't pass. And I think that because they timed out. So Michelle helped me do a thing with images, like build a what is it? It's a list of images, I think. I'm struggling with the word. I can't remember what it is, but
It's a list of dictionaries that contain images and other
yeah.
information about the images.
And it's not based on another list. That's right. It's not. They're unique. That's right. That's right. But I don't know. I think I need to clean up my code a little bit. I'm hoping that will make it less burdensome on the server. But it is really frustrating. And of course, Uptime Robot said my server was up, and it wasn't up for
Whatever.
15 hours or something. I don't remember what it was. So that was kind of frustrating. But and then so I'm back on that. And then I'm just learning. I'm trying to figure out some of the other stuff on GitHub, these finer, you know, you get to a plateau and you think, okay, I'm comfortable doing this. Now what is really going on? So now I'm going to ask Michelle a question about GitHub. And so essentially, if you're I'm curious how you can be 3 commits behind main and 20 commits ahead. So I don't quite understand what that means. So I'd like to understand that. But you know, otherwise I'm just chugging away, comparing Word documents with HTML and figuring out sometimes the period's inside the parenthesis and sometimes it's outside the quote, and trying to make things consistent. But that's what I've been doing this week.
All right, cool.
Do we want to, oh, we'll come back maybe to Caroline's question, sorry.
Yeah. I mean, as far as assembly line stuff goes, it's mostly just been doing some meetings as we're talking about engaging some other courts and adding them to the fold of folks working on things. So maybe those Monday meetings will get a lot larger, hopefully.
Oh, that'd be great.
And yeah, so that's me. I never really have much to report on these Fridays.
Are you thinking court people or more legal aid people?
We've been speaking directly with courts because one of the things we want to do with the funding behind Sam's position is really expand into other jurisdictions with an eye towards e-filing.
Right.
Courts have to be on board for that. So, and also, you know, our model is that we're trying to make sure that to the extent that, you know, there are resources to bear, that some of those resources are, you know, that the court and the state is bearing some of those resources, as opposed to expecting legal aid to do everything. Which is not to say that we don't love or want legal aid to help with like content creation and stuff, but you know, our opinion is, you know, if we're building infrastructure and roads, the government has a place to play in those roads
Well, that's what they're doing in Alaska, really. I mean, not with the e-filing yet, but I'm looking forward to that because I may have misrepresented how interested courts are in DocAssemble to my boss.
Well, you know what's interesting is one of the groups we are talking to is, I think they are anticipating having the builder be a court staff.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's terrific because that's what we're doing, and Jeannie wants to come to a Monday meeting, and I'd really love it if some other court people are there.
Yeah, so maybe you'll have some peers there. That would be great.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be cool. So the other thing is that I know Quentin said he wasn't happy with the DocX blank DocX field recognizer thing. And I think Bryce had worked on the PDF, and I tried both of them. I've tried them both. Mostly I was focusing on the PDF this week, and I'm getting an indexing error, and I don't just know if that's just Bryce's thing. And I remembered that when Chris tried, I think she was just trying the Weaver on her PDF. It was breaking, and she found that she could do it more easily when she broke the piece. I mean, this was like over a year ago or something. She broke it into pieces. So I took my 8-page PDF and broke it into 8 pages and tried Bryce's PDF thing. And I kept getting an indexing error. And I tried it, first of all, for recognizing fields. And then I tried it and then I thought, okay, I'll do some fields. And then I tried it for that nominalizing, which I guess is when you rename the fields to assembly line fields. And I kept getting the same error.
Well, there might be something so I had done a lot of that, so I might have broken something.
Oh.
But also I think Quentin was, he was trying to harmonize some of the code from some updates that we had made before with the so it's possible that broke something that had been working, or maybe it's something that was always never working. But that's good to know. I think we're going to put some more time into thinking about those tools coming up.
Yeah, because that would be phenomenal. I mean, yeah. So I'm finally at a place where I can use the tool.
We have the proof of concept stuff that we did for the paper. So we know there's things that work. We just need to sort of get it into production.
Yeah.
Complicating.
So I thought I'd raise that just so, I mean, I know Quentin was not happy that things weren't where he wanted them to be for ITC. But
well, I think he got some stuff in where he got some stuff good enough to demo some stuff. And then, there's still a bunch of stuff on the punch list to do.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think he's unhappy I think the stuff that it does now as compared to, is amazing. So.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. But you want it so that other people can use it.
Yeah. No, we'll get there.
So is telling you that I was getting these errors enough, or should I put it in an issue, or what do you want me to do?
Put it in an issue.
Okay.
And that's the way that what'll happen is if you were to tell me and I was to tell Quentin, all he'd do is he'd put it in an issue.
Yeah. And would that be AL2?
Doing it on the Weaver and
it'd be the Weaver?
Well, if you were doing it in the Weaver, if you were using like the Python package,
the dashboard.
Where you were using it, wherever you were using it, that's where the issue should go.
Right.
If it was the dashboard thing, then that's not the Weaver. That's
right. It has its own.
That's its own thing.
It's not the dashboard itself, right? The dashboard is just a collection of other.
Yeah, there's a package though. We had a package that runs the
okay.
Special.
Okay. All right. Okay. So there I am. Oh, perfect. Oh, thank you so much.
And she also gave the Weaver. So cool. All right. Well, did you have another question that you had brought up? Do we have questions?
Yeah, it was about, do you want to spend now, or do you want to jump to Casual Friday?
Well, if we wait till next week, then Quentin will be here. That's always more.
I can tell you the answer later too, Caroline.
Oh, if you know the answer,
it's a fairly simple answer.
What's the simple?
I think it's a fairly simple answer.
Yeah.
I could say that. But that means that on the main branch, you made some commits while you were working on another
was the question.
branch. It was, so it makes that branch behind by those commits.
Yeah,
'cause
those
then-
are, yeah, I understand that. That makes
Then,
sense.
then it's ahead because you've made changes on the new branch. So it's also ahead by some commits.
Yeah, so the new branch is right. So there's obviously some changes. So basically I changed main and those changes didn't go to the new branch. And I did a lot of stuff on the new branch. And obviously those changes aren't on main. So the way you
Exactly.
figure out, add the main changes to the new branch or just compare, and then you can see, okay. All right. I don't know.
That was the question. I just knew there was a question.
Well, I didn't understand. I mean, I don't know why that makes perfect sense. And I was looking at that, but I don't know what my question was. I was like, well, duh. I guess I was thinking, how could I have new
How
changes
can you
on
be
main? They're
behind
just on
and
the new
ahead?
branch.
That's confusing.
It's
Yeah,
a
I
clunky
ran
way
into
of
that.
talking about the changes in documents that need to be resolved. It's
Yeah.
kind of, it just blows my mind that it's even possible to keep track of all that, but it's cool.
Well, the really cool thing is, so this came up really because I had to go to my own server and start all, pull from somewhere on GitHub. And then I know I pushed to GitHub and then I couldn't remember when I got back onto the Alaska server. I had to compare them and figure out, well, where was I when the server went down, that type of thing. Because obviously I hadn't pushed to GitHub because I was in the middle of it when it crashed. And then I have all these test files. I have sort of like 8 feature files. And I'm thinking, well, I don't want to think I'm caught up and then overwrite it. So I figure I'll compare. I use GitHub just to make a new branch and just compare them. So I'm very excited that after 100 years working on GitHub, I've started to feel more comfortable with it. But I just want to make sure. I wanted to make sure that what I thought this behind and ahead thing, that's actually what it is. So that makes it. I understand that. But boy, GitHub is hard to understand.
That is universally accepted.
And
It's
Git is even more fun.
acknowledged.
Well, we started with Git. And I was feeling pretty good about Git, although it was complicated.
Really?
Yeah.
No,
Lily hates Git with a passion. But
I can understand.
yeah,
I avoided it for maybe that's a casual Friday conversation, but I
Yeah.
avoided it
Or
for the
spin it out.
longest time. Yeah,
So why don't we stop the recording and then
we
everyone
can
can say
transition.
what they really think.
yeah.
David,
right.
you have to go in 7 minutes.
No, I don't.